All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
Yeah, we can overdub it later. Just
I haven't had any crazy stories about. Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
sleazy real estate guys. But all right, so another episode of the EP podcast here. This evening we're going to be covering a lot of topics across business, news going on around the world, finance, you name it. With me, I have the co-host of the podcast, Arthur Hannick. Arthur, how are you?
great. How are you?
I'm well. I'm excited about all the topics we have to go into this evening. We have like about 15. I don't even know if we're going to get through all of them, but excited to see where this is going to go. Before we do that, if they haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more episodes that are to come in the future. So, Arthur, we have a lot of topics here. Where do you think we should start? What catches your eye for? We have things like Nvidia is now officially the second largest company in the world. Meme stocks are back. Diamond industry in trouble as lab-grown gemstone tank prices further. I thought of you when I picked that out. Robinhood bets big in crypto with $200 million deal for Bitstamp. We have like a bunch. So do any of these stand out to you in particular?
Well, you want to start with diamonds?
There you go. Diamonds. Hey, I thought right about you. All right, so I saw this headline and I thought of you, and I thought maybe you might be able to give your take on it. So Diamond Industries, quote unquote, in trouble as lab-grown gemstone tank prices further. Arthur, what do you know about this industry? I know you dabble in the jewelry business.
I used to be in the jewelry industry for 10 years. That was my first career.
Okay. So what do you know about this? What's going on here?
Well, diamonds have always been an odd commodity when you get down to it. It's being advertised that it's a scarce product, but in actuality, it might be the most common gemstone on Earth.
Okay.
It's just due to external forces have limited the supply. So once that started to ease up, the prices started to fall, but then technology has come along and now they're able to create diamonds in a laboratory that are genetically the exact same makeup as a natural diamond, except it's not a natural diamond. So now you're having a hard time saying why not save some money and buy a lab-grown diamond when you cannot tell the difference when you're wearing it of what it would be if it was a natural diamond. So now it's a tough industry to be in. This they keep promoting you should only have a natural diamond when you could save money and get a lab grown. So it's diamond industry is definitely struggling on how to market themselves and pivot so they can still promote the natural stone versus a lab grown stone.
Is this affecting at all precious metals at all, like gold, silver?
No, it's unique to that. And the interesting part about this is they're also doing other lab grown stones, but that hasn't affected the values of rubies, emeralds, sapphires. This is only affecting diamonds.
Okay. And I think I saw one of the comments while I was going through this topic saying that it's being artificially being made scarce to drive the prices up.
Ages ago. That's changed significantly.
Now, where does that come from?
That
comment?
Well, that comes from the Beers hoarding all the diamonds in London up until the 90s, 2000s.
Okay. And where do you think this is going to go into the future?
I'm expecting the price to continue to fall. So we'll see what happens from there. But it's going to be a hard sale to convince somebody to spend $20,000 on a 2-carat diamond when you can get a lab-grown diamond for a fraction of the price.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the terms diamond hands. Have you? Okay, so diamond hands is also aligned with the term hodl. Have you ever heard of the term hodl?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what it stands for?
Yes. Somebody screwed up and typed HODL instead of HOLD. And as a result, that has now stuck when it was just a Fat finger
Nah.
typing error.
It actually stands for a specific acronym. Do you know what the acronym is? It's used in the retail investing space for hold on to dear life, right? And the reason why I bring that
Well,
up,
that's emerged from it. It started as a fat finger typing error.
okay, well, there's that. But the reason I bring that up from topics of diamond and diamond hands, that leads me into meme stocks, which are currently back in the market. I don't know if you saw, but GameStop, I believe just a few days ago, I want to say on Friday, May 10th, it rose 118%, I believe, from $17 a share to up to $49 a share. Did you hear about that?
I saw the chart, and did you see it come back down?
So before we get into that, the reason it went to that price is because this goes back into, I think, 2021, where all these meme stocks, quote unquote, were going crazy. Things like GameStop, AMC, like all these, stocks that typically don't have anything like crazy to them. But it was being driven by by the term that came about called retail investors, right? And it became the whole retail investors versus the hedge funds, all the big ones. Like I forget, I think Melvin Capital was one of them that went under. Because of that, because I guess they had
They short.
they shorted the stock while it did the complete. So short the stock. What does that mean for our viewers that don't know that?
You sell your position in the stock knowing that you're going to have to be forced to purchase it at a later date. So you sell the stock and then buy it back later, and you're hoping that you're going to sell it now at a higher price and buy it back at a lower price. But if the price goes up, then all of a sudden you're out money because you cashed in at a price and now you have to buy it at a higher price than what you sold it. And that's what caused companies to go under in this whole stock issue.
And I think when people think of when they hear of the term short, they typically think of the Big Short. Of when the housing crisis happened, when the investor Michael Burry bet against the real estate market, and as a result, made a buckload of money out of it.
Similar situation, however, with the real estate, there was a limited supply, so you could only go so far with shorting. With the meme stocks, there was no supply. You could keep shorting to the point that people had shorted 10 times the amount of stock issued. So this is where it all started with the one person realizing that, wait, this stock is short over tenfold.
So the Michael Berry of this scenario is known as Reddit user Roaring Kitty, or I forget what is he has Roaring Kitty, and then he has another nickname too, but he's more known for the Roaring Kitty one. And he announced that he had a $200 million position on GameStop, and then the trading day after, which I believe was that Monday, it went up that high to $49 a share. But you mentioned that it went back down, and I think it just went back down today, if not yesterday. I think
it went up and came down, and went up again.
Shit back up,
and then it came down, and today it closed just over $28 a share.
Right, and the reason it went back up from the first time around was because the guy, what was it, Roy Kitty, he announced a live stream in where people just blew up over the hype about it, but just to be underwhelmed with the information, I guess he shared in it, and as a result, it brought back the price down to the 20s. So what are your thoughts about people just pouring their money into this thing? Because here's the thing. They see Roaring Kitty, right? The younger community, probably 20s, right? And people in their 20s, maybe even late teens. They see this guy and then they're like, oh my God, he just went from a $200 million position to a $500 million position. I'm going to put in money too. And then it just drives the price even up more and more. But, they end up losing a shit ton of money after that because they followed someone like Roaring Kitty. What are your thoughts on that?
Investing 101. You only invest what you know and understand. If you don't know it and you don't understand it, you don't invest in it.
And actually, I don't know if you know my cousin now, Juan. I don't know why I said that. But Juan actually was one of the people that took part in the whole meme stock run. And I think it was AMC that he made money off of. So, so that's those are the news with meme stocks, right? And I don't know if you saw the movie. Did you ever see the movie Dumb Money? Dumb
Don't
Money.
recall.
Yeah. So it was Dumb Money. It came out. I think it was a Sony produced movie that I think you could watch on Netflix, and you see actors like Seth Rogen in it. That's Seth Rogen, right? Seth Rogen, and he plays one of the hedge funds CEOs where they lose a ton load of money in real life and in the film. But another name that was another company name that was brought up a lot during the meme stocks because a lot of people were trading through their platform was Robinhood, right? Even I was a user of Robinhood back in the day or a few years ago. But with that Robinhood, they apparently bet 200. They created a $200 million deal with a company called Bitstamp. So now we're diving into the cryptocurrency space. Specifically, it's a European exchange founded in 2011. So we're seeing meme stocks going back up. We're seeing cryptocurrencies going back up. Are we having a repeat of 2021 again? Or what's going on?
Well, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Well, here's what I'm confused about, right? Because in 2021, there was a crap ton of money being poured into the economy, just given away like it was like an Oprah show, right? You get some money. You get some. What is it that they called it during COVID? The
Stimulus?
Yeah, it's like you get a stimulus, you get a stimulus, you get a stimulus. But this time around, that's not necessarily happening. That's not necessarily happening, and people are just pouring their money back into meme stocks, cryptocurrencies, and I'm even seeing that what do they call it? One of the terms they call it is shit coins, essentially, where people do pump and dumps. Right? They announce, oh, we're about to have a big project. We're about to have a big project, and if you buy our coin, you'll have access to all these exclusive member items / events. And typically, what these groups do is they put a celebrity in the forefront, right? In the forefront, and then boom, they make it to the public, and then pump and then dump. I'm seeing that happen again.
Are these with coins that they're creating, or are these with legit?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, how do you determine legit from not? Right. That's
is it like one that's been established, like Bitcoin, that's been around for a little while, and they're
So there's Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then there's alternative coins.
Okay.
Right, like shit coins, like Dogecoin, or like things like that, or like Shiba Inu, or like other ones like that. But no, those are coming back up again. I'm seeing them like more often as if it was back in 2021. And my thing is, the thing I hate about that is it starts bringing a lot of fake success in social media. You start seeing all these guys like fake flexing, supposedly like the thing too with these shit coins is you could buy like 1 million of them for like maybe like $10, right? But here's the thing: they don't show you that they spent $10 on. They show that they have 1 million of them. So they give you like almost like a false perception, like, oh, I'm a big baller, I got it like that. And it's just so annoying because with that also starts coming other organizations like Forex, right? Now, Forex is like the foreign exchange traders, right, where they exchange currencies. And some people I know that, well, I don't know for sure, but they appear to be doing well for themselves because of it. However, I don't necessarily know any like concrete evidence backing that, but they start coming back up again, right? So it's like, how they say it's like everybody's an expert during the bull market, right?
Correct.
So I'm seeing that it's like, all right, dude, it's like we literally just went through this less than like about not even 3 years ago fully yet, and it's like you see right through the bullshit, but the ideal customer for these things is the ones that are looking to make a quick buck. The microwave mentality, the one that's looking for essentially a gamble, right? It's what's that thing in roulette is, they just go in there and they bet on black. Is that what people typically say?
Yeah, black, red.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it all. I hate seeing the fake success. It pisses me off. I know you're not on social media,
but isn't social media just predominantly fake success? Isn't it all skewed? It's all
Well-
presenting an image of what you want people to see of you, whether it's accurate or not.
I would say that social media is your social resume. I would say it's what it is. And
But you can
unfortunately, you
make
can't
it-
fact check. You can't fact check.
You can make it up and
Right. So, but that's why ultimately people get where someone loses, someone gains, right, and vice versa. But it's just annoying to see. But yeah, that's what's going on with meme stocks. People are back on there. But let's talk about more value. Some stocks that been around for a long time with history in it, backed by real investors. You might have heard of it before. They call him the Oracle of Omaha. The Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett from Berkshire Hathaway. Well, Monday.
that was an interesting day for him.
Yeah. Imagine Monday morning you wake up just to go into the office and be told, "Hey, boss, don't panic." But all of a sudden, our stock just dropped 99%. Right? And 99%. It's hard to get a grasp on. 99% is 1% away from being the whole pie. But the fact that a single share of Berkshire Hathaway is about $620,000, and then for it to drop 99%, leaving it like at $150 something a share, $188 a share. Imagine that. I thought I was having a bad Monday morning like this week, and then I saw that shit. I'm like, oh crap! All right. So, and I texted you about that. So, what was your side of that? Did you hear about that on your end from other sources?
No, as soon as you texted me, I went online, and the first thing that popped up is that there was having technical difficulties with the exchange platform.
Yeah.
And that stock wasn't the only one that was affected. There were a few others, but that one was obviously the most notable one where it was literally taking trades at $188 a share, and then the next trade would be $650,000 a share, and then it would take it back at $188. So there was definitely some sort of technical glitch.
Yeah. They halted trading, the New York Stock Exchange. They halted trading, and it just turned out to be a glitch
for a couple of hours until they could figure out what was going on.
Right. And for the people that did, get involved in those price ranges, I saw today, and today is what, June 7th? 6th?
7th.
June 7th? June 7th, that the New York Stock Exchange is going to cancel all the orders that people place on that.
They said it that evening.
Really?
They had already said that they were going to do an analysis, and they were canceling all stock trades from that period of time that it was being held, and that anything that seemed to be wildly outside of an appropriate range was being canceled. So,
oh my God, dude! If they didn't do that, that would have been like the biggest, easiest come up.
But that was the news articles that entire day, is that the New York Stock Exchange reserves the right to cancel any trades at their discretion.
Do they?
They do.
I'd never read that. People don't really...
Well, it's a little obscure thing about it, but no one wants to read the fine print, and then all of a sudden, when we have something like this, now the fine print is under a magnifying glass.
Yeah. We only pay attention to it when it benefits us. So, speaking of stocks... Oh, actually, before we go into the next topic... What do you think Charlie Munger would have said? Because literally, Charlie Munger just passed away not too long ago.
A couple of years ago.
Really? Was it a couple of years already?
Time flies.
Holy crap. Well, even then, in comparison to, respectfully, his age, 2 years is nothing. So it's like a week, essentially. And what do you think he would have said? Because Charlie Munger had a good humor, right? And he would specifically talk so much shit about all these meme stock traders and all that crap. What do you think Charlie Munger would have thought about this?
He probably would have been the first one diving in to try to pick up more shares of stock.
Yeah. And the investors, I don't know. I see. We look at it because do you have any Berkshire that I don't know about that you want to publicly disclose?
I don't know what you think my wealth is, but no, I can't afford a share of stock.
You probably wouldn't be sitting here.
$600 and some $1,000.
You probably wouldn't be sitting here if you were. But no, we look at it from the non-holders, but imagine the holders being there and just wondering what the hell's going on, right? Looking at they're just logging into their portfolio, probably doing their weekly checkup. Man, I can't even imagine how that might have felt.
No, I do remember back in the whole market crash when the stock was trading at, $75,000 to $80,000 a share, I did think about liquidating everything I have to buy one share.
And now, in retrospect, would that have given you your best return?
No.
Yeah. So there's
So
that.
I'm glad I didn't do that, but I did think about it at the time. Then I actually could jump on this bandwagon.
Yeah. Yeah. But, opportunities come and go.
Get the invitation to Omaha every year for the annual meeting.
Oh, that is true. Dude, I've seen videos of what that means. It looks like a concert.
But it's just an invitation. You still got to pay for everything.
Oh, really?
You got to pay to be there. You got to pay for the airfare. You got to pay for the hotel. You got to pay for food. You got to pay for everything.
Right.
And the rates obviously go up for that week.
Right. The first one after Charlie Munger passed, that one was insanely packed. It was like almost an entire stadium.
Well, everyone's concerned about what the future looks like because now you just lost one of the two.
Yeah. Because now people are like being extra sensitive about attending everyone moving forward because they don't know, when Warren's time is going to come.
He's made it very clear there's a succession plan in place, and they review it on a regular basis to make sure that it's going to align with the company's needs.
Especially with the McDonald's and Coca-Cola diet, man. He loves his Coca-Cola and McDonald's. Can't blame him. But anyways, in other news with another company, Nvidia. Nvidia is now officially the second largest company in the world with over a $3 trillion market cap, surpassing Apple and trailing right behind Microsoft. Did you hear about this?
Well, they seem to be neck and neck with Apple, so it's just a matter of which one you're going to put first.
I mean, yeah, when you're talking about 3-point-something trillion, but those little decimals make a huge difference. What do you think this says about AI?
It's definitely here to stay.
Yeah. It was literally just announced the other day that it was bigger than Amazon and I forget what one of the other companies combined, and now it just passed Apple, and now it's right behind Microsoft. Do you think it's gonna overtake Microsoft at the rate it's going?
Well, it's gone up at such a rapid pace that I do expect there to be a little bit of a reset, reevaluate, and then let it shoot off again. But when something goes up too quickly, too fast, you have to be concerned that it may not hold there.
And the CEO, he was, I think, in a university. They were having a sit down with him. One of the things, because one of the biggest concerns with AI is that they're going to replace people and jobs and all that stuff, right? And something he specifically said is AI won't take your jobs. The person who uses AI will take your job.
Yes.
So, what's your perspective on that?
Well, there's a couple of things there. First, it's going to completely revolutionize the entire education industry because now you have to find a way to teach without depending upon the technology, that the technology can be used to, give the impression that you understand the subject matter when you don't. Mm-hmm. So that's going to change. But the other part is you also have to learn how to use AI to be able to find employment. And that's going to be the new standard is if you understand how to use AI, then you're going to be employable. If you don't learn it, the technology, all of a sudden you're going to end up in a position that you're not going to be employable. It may not be today or tomorrow, but 5-10 years from now, you might be stuck and you may not be able to get a well-paying job.
Mm. Now, how similar do you think this AI boom is in comparison to the dot-com bubble?
I don't think it's comparable at all.
No? You don't think it's going to be one of those things where either goes as fast as it comes or only a few of the AI leading companies are going to stay behind and the rest are just a bunch of, Fugazi, like not real, just pretending to be companies?
With AI, it doesn't matter. As long as you're doing something with that technology, you're creating something, you're offering a service. With the .com, a lot of it was ideas and a lot of it was the same idea over and over again. So then it got to be the first one to get to market one. But then there was a whole lot of anybody who had an idea that had to do with .com just got funding just because everyone was afraid they were going to miss out on the next big thing. Mm. And come to find out that some of these companies didn't have anything to stand behind.
Okay. And one of the things that the CEO of Nvidia also said was, in another article I read or video that I saw, was that now the focus is physical AI. So things like actual robots understanding, the perception of the world, how to function in it and stuff like that. It almost sounds like the closest thing to building some sort of, I don't know if the right term is cognitive, behavior.
But more than what's happening at the large Amazon warehouses where they have the robots running the product.
I would
back
imagine in the same
forth down the massive hallways.
I would imagine in the same category, but major levels above that, right? Because these guys, part of the thing with these guys, you think of like Elon Musk, you think of Bezos, when you think of Zuckerberg, when you think of now this guy Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, they're essentially visionaries, right? It's like they're almost pitch out there to the world something that might even sound a little crazy, but it sounds crazy until it starts happening. Right? Who would have thought that AI would be doing the things it's doing now? You can't even say like 10 years ago, even just 5 years ago, right? All that it's doing. But, the physical AI thing is very interesting to me because I think of physical AI, I think of things like Neuralink with Elon Musk with the chip in your brain. I think of that. I think of Amazon, as you said, with all the robots. I think of, Disney with like their walking platform. I think of Apple, it's just all these kind of things. It's like, where is it a race? We've done the race to space. We've done, all these things. Like now, is it like the race to the power of AI? Is that what's going on here?
Could very well be. I mean, this is going to become part of the new normal. So we think it's a foreign concept now, but 5 years from now,
Yeah.
it's going to be like, hasn't this always been around?
Yeah, like Elon Musk with the charging network, with the station networks for all the electric vehicles. Just years ago, people were calling him like, yeah, this is whatever it's going to be. It is what it is. Now companies like Ford are now teaming up with Tesla so they can have access to the network. And then you look at things like Starlink. Starlink is their satellite network, and it just started like just with a couple satellites. And now you look at this video that I saw. It's this video. It's a what's it called? What's a video called? This type of video called where you record it in a time lapse video, of their Starlink network going from like 1 to 2 to then essentially like outside of the globe, and to essentially covering the entire globe. And it's looking like, damn, that's crazy. Right? And just like trying to think of like where that could go to in the future. It's like, what are you going to do? But do you have any concerns with that?
It's going to start making it harder for space travel. You put all that satellites up there. Eventually, you're not going to be able to get out of the.
Well, they're going to have space traffic.
Well, they have to try to avoid hitting satellites.
Oh my God! Imagine that. You got to put on your GPS. You got to take into consideration all the traffic from the satellites. Imagine that. That's crazy. All right. So where do you want to go out from here, Arthur? I think we're in finance. So why don't we talk about on the second page, Blackrock and Citadel planning to launch new Texas stock exchange. Now, my inside information in finance and in the Wall Street world.
Inside information, you're inside trading now?
No. This is like first-hand experience is what I'm trying to say, not insider information. No, I'm not trying to get fucking, what is it called? The SEC. Knocking on my door. But no, so what I was saying is that now BlackRock and Citadel are building their own stock exchange over in Dallas, Texas. And when I saw that, I was like, holy crap. I thought this was huge, right? I think this is huge. But for those that don't know, BlackRock holds essentially 9.1 trillion in AMU. AMU being assets under management, right? Which makes them the largest asset manager, the asset management company in the world, right? And the CEO is Larry Fink. Now, Citadel, 62.3 billion. Now, they're a hedge fund. They're a hedge fund. So it's like small nuances in exactly what they identify as. And the CEO is Kenneth Griffin. Also, one of the featured CEOs in the film Dumb Money, with all the meme coins and such. So they both raised 120 million to open the Texas Stock Exchange, and they plan to start listing companies on there as early as 2026. So I was like, wow, you start, because BlackRock has been one of the names that have been going around a lot recently, because they have their hands in so much. So they're almost looked at as a puppeteer, right? Because they have so much say and majority hold in a lot of these companies, so they hold a lot of influence by default, right? So then you think about, oh, now they're making like their own stock exchange, where the hell can that go? So I posted on my Instagram story. One of my buddies that is on Wall Street, I'm not sure. Well, I knew he was in Wall Street. Actually, funny enough, I saw him in an ad for a Wall Street firm years ago, and then we've been keeping in touch.
So just clarify, like works on Wall Street as in the stock exchange?
No.
Works
Not
on
in
Wall
one of the
Street
not one of
like,
the exchanges, and one of those like investment funds, and one of investment capital funds.
okay, but not like working on Wall Street as like a hot dog cart vendor on Wall Street. Just,
Yeah, no.
Just want to make sure.
No, an actual investor, investor. Yeah. Or broker, or whatever the proper term is.
I mean, because you can work on Wall Street too. We'll just get you a hot dog card. You'll be good to go.
Let's exchange hot dog commodities. But no, he messaged me and he said it's not that big of a deal. He said it doesn't really matter. Most fail or do little volume, and in fact, most are just NASDAQ and NYSE listed companies. So I'm like, okay, when you put it like that, eases the concern a little bit, but then again, it is BlackRock. So what's your take on this?
Well, are you familiar with the Chicago Stock Exchange?
Not necessarily, no.
The Boston Stock Exchange?
No.
The Philadelphia Stock Exchange?
I know there's a ton, but no.
They all had independent stock exchanges, and they're all subsidiaries of the NYSE or NASDAQ now.
So
I
when
believe there used to be 11 stock exchanges across the country, and now we're just down to NYSE and NASDAQ.
So when you say subsidiary, does that mean that they got bought out?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think that long term BlackRock and Citadel are just looking to make another buck by?
I don't think that's their end goal, but I think it's going to come into one of two things. It's either they'll be successful with this, and then that will end up happening is that they'll be bought out, or they'll make a go at this and it won't get anywhere, and they'll shut it down.
Mm-hmm. Do you, and one of the things I hear a lot, like as I mentioned earlier, is the amount of influence that companies like BlackRock has. Do you feel like they have a lot of influence in our politics and government here in the U.S.?
I feel like anybody who has funds like that could have influence if they choose to, seeing that we've just completely gutted all the rules with the super PACs and you can donate as much money as you want. There used to be caps on how much money could be donated. Used to be a matter of thousands of dollars that was the absolute max that you could donate to a campaign. And now you can donate whatever you want.
Well, I remember one of the what was the one cryptocurrency exchange that went under with the one young guy, Sam Bankman-Fried?
FTX?
FTX. One of the things that was found once they started going into their books was that he was donating heavily to what's it called? To some party. I forget which one it was, for the sake of trying to like influence, decisions that would benefit them.
He was interesting. He had a different philosophy on the world, and I believe at one point in time he was trying to find what was Donald Trump's price not to run for office, and then give him that much money to not run. Because he felt that he would be a bigger threat in office than giving him a pile of money to stay out of office.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you give anyone that young that much money, you're gonna run into trouble sooner than later. And his parents were like his lawyers. I think is what it was.
He had a legal team as well, but his parents were also
Yeah,
attorneys.
yeah. And then that's where people like Kevin O'Leary got involved. They're one of like their influencers or whatever the case, as well as Tom Brady. Tom Brady is like notorious getting involved with like sketchy companies. So, and nothing new from him. So, speaking of, manipulating through money or making a ton of money or being one of the biggest with money, in 2023, it was founded that CEO pay rose 13%, being salaries 200 times bigger than workers. So 13% beat around 16 million in this specific source.
That the CEO's salary increase was 200 times the increase of the average worker's pay increase.
Yeah, it says 200 times bigger than the workers.
The increase in pay.
Than the increase in pay.
Yes.
But it rose specifically percentage-wise 13%.
Well, this has always been an issue. If you want to get down to it, back in the 60s and backwards, the CEO's pay on average
What
was
those days like?
20 times larger than the average employee's pay.
20 times?
20 times.
Now, this is saying 200 times
That was a 200-time increase.
increase.
Today, it's 344 times.
Okay. So the gap in between salary increases has drastically,
It absolutely
Gone up.
has.
Why do you think that is?
Greed.
Greed?
Absolutely. Agreed. This can be easily rectified, and this will help control so much. If Congress could just pass a law that would put in place that the CEO cannot get paid more than, let's say, 100 times more a year than what the lowest person on the payroll is, that means if the CEO wants to take a raise, then everybody else has to take a raise as well. Share the wealth. If the company is doing well, then everyone at the company should be doing well as well, not just the CEO.
Now, do you think, to your specific example, after they reach that 100-time mark and they distribute back to the employees, do you think that should take it to an extra level? At 200 times,
No, it should never be 200 times.
but then at 200 times, the employees get even more. Because in theory,
No, it would never. No, we keep it at the same ratio, so 100 times. So if the CEO wants
One
an
for
increase in pay, that means everybody else gets an increase in pay as well. So the wealth is being shared with everybody in the company, not just the CEO.
okay.
And I think that's sustainable. It seemed to work for the first couple hundred years of doing business, but now all of a sudden, in the past couple of decades, we're finding this isn't working. Now we're doing an analysis and realizing that we've gone from, 20 times to 200 times, and now up to 344 times, all within a very short span.
Now, what do you think justifies that? Is it because, there's board of directors.
I don't think anything justifies 344 times.
Even if the risk they take on.
They didn't do it by themselves.
But then you could also argue that they wouldn't be able to do anything if that initial risk was never taken.
True. But at the same point, we're talking salary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about return on investment of putting funds into a business.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if they're going to invest, if they're going to bankroll a company with all their own money. Yes, you get a return on that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they get paid to be CEO. There needs to be a cap on.
So do you think it should go from salary to incentive?
It's compensation plan is this whole thing.
Okay.
So it's not just salary. So it's, they can say, oh, well, I only take $1 a year in salary. Okay, well, what are your stock options? $200 million a year? Yeah, that's not quite fair.
Okay. All right. So you draw the line at 100 times.
I think 100 times is fair. It's definitely high. It gives people plenty of space, but I think at the end of the year, when you do your books, you need to declare what the highest salary is, what the lowest salary is, and do a little math equation and turn out whether it's within the 100 factor or not. And if it's not, then penalties need to be imposed or give you the chance to go back and adjust the salaries to make sure that you're in line.
Well, I'll tell you who's not thinking about their stakeholders. Spotify. Spotify raises prices for the second time in under a year. They are no longer cheaper than Apple Music.
Okay.
They have gone from $10.99 to $11.99 a month, or going to. Their excuse is to become more profitable and fund its push into audiobooks. Now, while investors are excited, customers are not. It actually set the stock up 6%. Now, while I was looking at this, I actually saw one of the comments, right? And I was like, okay, this is interesting. One of the comments said, yeah, you lost me. According to their March earnings, they're up 188% in income over last year. They laid off 1,500 in December, and they're still looking for more profits. And this only affects U.S. subscribers. They finished the message with a middle finger emoji. So
that sounds appropriate.
So
there's no reason to raise your prices twice in 1 year on a subscription service. That just screams that you don't know what you're doing and you're not doing, that you didn't think this through. If you realize that you raised your prices and you didn't raise them enough, you just need to deal with it and make the adjustment the following year. This is not a good look to raise your prices twice in 1 year. This will upset customers and subscriptions will drop. People are going to show you by walking and taking their business elsewhere.
So our man behind the camera, Jack, do you have Spotify?
I do.
Okay. How do you feel about this? He does. How do you feel about this?
I feel like I'm kind of locked in,
Uh-huh.
so I'm kind of stuck.
You're brand loyal?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Well, why can't you use a competitive product?
Why won't you switch over to Apple?
Because I have such a built-up portfolio of
Oh.
playlists and taste profiles, and you can share it with friends. I have a profile that's really detailed that you can't just shift.
Yeah. So what we're hearing back from our man behind the camera, our backbone of the podcast, is that he is justifying the staying as a customer because of the amount of how tailored his experience has become utilizing their platform. So that might be one of the things they might have considered going into it. Now, let me ask you this. Let's say a year from now, they said, hey, we're jacking up our prices once again to $15.99.
I'd probably try to think about a way to build up another in-depth music portfolio somewhere else, but that would take time.
You would explore your options.
I would explore my options.
So Jack would explore his options at $15.99. At what point would you say, screw this, I'm unsubscribing now? $20.99.
Yeah, probably.
$20.99.
Because that's double.
All right, Spotify, you got to go up to $19.99 to go up to that.
I'm not thrilled about it. It's more I'm trapped.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they did it, because I think they know a lot of people like me are music nerds, and they have so deep roots.
Yeah.
It's hard just to pull out and go somewhere else.
Right. Well, I'm an Apple Music customer, but I do hear about how the one thing I do hear about Spotify is really good at is really tailoring the music experience. So I think, as you said, that's one of the reasons why they probably know that they could get away with that. But you know who's not dealing with price increases? eBay. You know why? Because eBay is going to discontinue use of American Express as payment option as of August, which is actually the same reason why Costco broke up with American Express. They have, quote unquote...
Did Costco ever have a relationship with American Express?
They did.
Okay.
They did a while back. And it's, quote unquote, due to their unacceptably high fees. What are your thoughts on this, Arthur?
Well, for eBay, that's a big mistake. But if you want to be technical about it, Amex isn't the one with the highest fees anymore, and they haven't been for years.
Who is it?
It is actually Visa.
Visa.
I know.
Okay.
Amex.
You have some numbers for us?
I do have some numbers.
Okay. Tell us.
Amex fees range from 1.43 to 3.3%, but Visa's numbers range from 1.5% to 3.5%.
3.5. And what was Amex top?
Amex top was 3.3. Plus 10 cents.
So why do you think that they're dropping them but not Visa? And other companies are feeling the same. Is there some other fees that are probably hidden in there?
I think it's just not being educated on it. Last time I had to work with credit card processing and doing analysis on it, turns out Amex was towards the lower end. And as a surprise, Visa was, they lumped Visa and MasterCard together. But at the end of the day, when you really dissect it, the Visa fees were actually a little bit higher and Amex was lower. So I think Amex is just getting a bad rap because for years, Amex was always more expensive. But they've been doing everything they can to curtail that. And
do you think they have a personal beef with Amex?
I don't think so. I think it's just they're still under that perception that maybe if they drop Amex, but, Amex is also a certain clientele. If you drop that card, do you lose that clientele? Costco's a different story because they're a club. So they tell you flat out, we only accept Visa. Now, my guess is they have a deal with Visa, so they get more favorable rates, since that's the only credit card they accept. But in eBay's position, you're an auction. If I wanted to, well, I can't personally, but people who go to Sotheby's and Christie's and spend $100 million can put it on their Amex.
Now you're talking about like, into their ages, like well-off, wealthy people here. That's who you're referring to.
I don't believe that's the case anymore.
Really?
I don't.
So who are you referring to here?
Well, the wealthy people for, Sotheby's and Christie's.
Yeah.
But for credit card holders, I believe Amex is starting to skew to a younger demographic.
Speaking of, Amex finds success as a younger generation's hunt for card rewards. So,
well, is it just card rewards or it is a status symbol?
It's 100% a status symbol. I mean, Amex has always been a status symbol. Have they not been?
Is that why you so desperately wanted one?
I don't know about desperately.
Really?
I was just like on the credit card high, I just wanted to have access to more and more credit.
You needed another credit card.
No, I absolutely did not need another credit
card. But you got an Amex anyway.
Huh?
But you got an Amex anyway.
I mean, you gotta have one in the deck. you know.
So status symbol.
No, 100%. 100%. I don't know anybody who has an Amex that isn't necessarily trying to resemble some sort of status. Am I wrong?
I don't think that applies to everybody, but...
Would you say most?
No, I mean, it's about getting the right card. The interesting part is that the younger generation is actually buying the platinum card and spending the $600 annual fee.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the older generations refuse to get to that level and pay that $600 annual fee and are just happy having the card with the similar features but without the annual fee.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, social media and trying to perceive some sort of reality where it's like, the younger generations have access to these cars. Now they have access to, very specific amenities and stuff like that. Very specific, like, lifestyle.
Things change over time. My parents' generation and older was big on country clubs. I'm not big on joining a country club. My guess is that the next generation coming through is going to be big on country clubs because, you always want what your parents don't have. and you seem to want what your grandparents had. So,
One of the comments I found in this headline that I thought was interesting, or just add piggybacking of what we're saying is, of what I'm saying is, even though it does offer some sweet rewards, I personally think that the increase in young customers has been caused by financial gurus / influencers showing off this card and acting as if it were a synonym of success or the lifestyle they have. So, do you think that's accurate?
so it's back to keeping up with the Joneses.
I think that part of it is keeping up with the Joneses. I think part of it, because I mean, like, it's you get access to, like, when you travel, you get access to very specific lounges, travel credits, all that stuff like that. Because at some point, these incentives, if you don't live that lifestyle and you pursue the lifestyle, you will incur expenses that you wouldn't have otherwise. And I think the younger generation is more likely to make those decisions.
So we're to the age bracket, that they're graduating from college, they're out and living, they don't have family responsibilities, they don't have things tying them down, and they're out and about and exploring the world.
Sure.
So then that could be it, that, these perks are worth it to them. And then, when life changes, give up the card for a while until they're back to justifying that $600 expense again.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but hey, do your thing. One of those things I do like is you should live your life in the 50-50. 50% of it, live your life as if you're going to die tomorrow. The other 50% is to live your life as if you're going to live for another 50 years. So, if there's a balance ever to that, then, everybody has their own motivation vehicles and incentives. So, whatever, drives you, right? As long as you're being responsible about it, right? Anything that you treat yourself with is okay as long as it's responsible. But, we were talking about traveling and the special lounges. But, one company that hasn't had that great of a reputation recently has, over the past couple of years, really, Boeing. Boeing. How the saying goes these days is, if it's Boeing, I ain't going. And I don't think Boeing is either. Because now they went from airplanes to now launching aircrafts. Like, not aircrafts, Jesus, what are they?
Rockets,
yes. Rockets.
Spaceship.
Boeing launches first crewed space flight. So, from Florida, they launch on June 5th their first crewed space flight. They had 2 astronauts on board, and they're putting their hands in there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this isn't something that they just decided to do last week. Hey, let's just...
Well, no. Obviously, it's been in the works for a while.
Years in the works. This isn't just news.
Yeah, but you think the timing is, not the best here?
Well, hopefully the rocket ship holds up better than the planes with the extra doors that they turned into walls, or tried to.
Well, I'll tell you what. If the rockets don't do too well, that's one way to get rid of the whistleblowers. so there's that with Boeing. I just don't know. I'm still not. I wouldn't get on the Boeing. I wouldn't. I just why? There's other other plane manufacturers. Airbus. I'll take an Airbus. I'm fine with that. I took the Dart bus. In my younger age, so I'll take the Airbus this time around. That'll be my luxury upgrade. But, yeah. Arthur, I feel like we've covered a lot of topics here. Is there any other you want to go into, or should we call it here?
Oh, let's do the last one.
Okay. Which one specifically?
Oh, with TJ Maxx and Marshalls.
Okay. TJ Maxx and Marshalls. It's actually exactly probably where my mom just came from. So, now she had a Marshalls bag. I think I just saw her walk in with a Marshalls bag. Typical. She comes from New York to come shop at the Marshalls in Delaware. I guess the taxes thing, but you have a Marshalls.
Well, it's just a pretense to come see you, just to get tax-free shopping.
Well, yeah, she disappeared within 3 hours of being here. I mean, within an hour of being here for 3 hours, if not 4.
Great sales.
But yeah,
they're offering something that you weren't.
I don't want to talk about it. But anyways, yeah. So now they're wearing body cameras.
I don't see how that's going to solve any problems. That's the whole root of this is coming down to you cut your staff. You're going to cut staff. You're going to have inventory shrinkage. It's going to walk out the door. You had more people working for you. You have more people to be patrolling the aisles. And this whole thing of locking everything up isn't working because people aren't going to buy it. They'll go someplace else.
So annoying.
Because you don't have somebody standing there with a key to unlock the case. When we were in Vegas and wanted to grab a little bottle of vodka for the hotel room, went over to, it was a Walgreens that was next door. They kept the entire liquor locked up, but they kept somebody standing next to it with a key.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just to try to prevent the theft of it, but they're not trying to stop you from making a sale. They're going to make it convenient. Like, what do you, well, open the case up right up for you right now
so
and help you. But when you go someplace and you have to wait for somebody to come unlock the shampoo, I'm not going to wait around.
Dude, this just happened to me.
I'm not going to buy from you. I can buy online at a cheaper price and have it shipped and not have to wait for somebody to come unlock the shampoo case.
Yeah, this literally happened to me the other day at, I want to say, not a Walgreens. What's the other one? CVS? CVS, yeah. I went in there for some detergent because this was local. It's right nearby. And the detergent was locked, right? So I'm like, I'm already in a crappy mood, right? I go in there, I'm like, the hell. So
kick the case in.
So here's the thing. It's I've had two experiences now with that specific thing. Is one, they needed to get the key, so that's annoying as hell. So if they don't have it in hand, then now they're freaking looking, they're doing a scavenger hunt for the key. And I've had the experience where they lost the key. So I couldn't get what the hell I went in there for. And
they can't sell what they have either.
Yeah, and then the second.
So now they're a museum. They're not even a store anymore. They've just turned into a museum.
That's a very good point. And the other one that just happened to me the other day was that they have buttons, right? They have buttons that's supposed to alert the people at the front so they could go open it. But the button doesn't freaking work. Oh. And so now you're just standing there like peeking over outside the aisle like a dumbass, wondering if anybody's going to even acknowledge you. So mind you, I was pissed already going into the store. So I go in there, so I'm like, I don't know if you guys just work. Like, one of you guys mind helping me, come in here? So yeah, it's like, all right, we'll be right there. Look for the keys. I went in there for detergent. It took me 15 minutes to get freaking detergent, dude. Imagine, and there was no one there. It's not like I had to wait in line or anything like that. It was like we grabbed the detergent, and the trust is so bad that they'll grab the detergent and it was like, oh, I'll take it up front for you. Like, dog, I'm going to steal a detergent. I'm going to go through all that trouble just to steal detergent? Someone out there probably will, and I'm sorry for that for you, but man, not me. Come on, man. I got places to be.
Do you want to sell your product or not? You want to lock it up and be a museum? Then sales are going to be affected by it. So don't complain when your sales go down.
Yeah.
Because you're making it harder for the customer. And then don't be upset if you are having inventory shrinkage because you've decided to cut your staff, and that's the adverse effect of it. Just like you make the cashiers make the cash registers cashierless. You're saving money. Guess where you're going to increase your costs? Inventory shrinkage.
I guess anywhere we try to nickel and dime or save a few pennies, sometimes it ends up costing us more. So, Arthur, once again, thank you so much for joining me in this home team episode covering all these different topics. I look forward to being with you in another episode.
Anytime. Look forward to next time.
Until then, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes coming in the near future. And until then, see ya.